This is Mac with Mac's Corner, and we are going to be going for the One Empire achievement. Not exactly sure how this is going to go, though I have a pretty good plan, I think, in mind. Obviously, if you're seeing this, it must have gone okay. So, starting off, haven't gone too far. Just want to go ahead and touch base on the first steps and kind of talk general strategy, and then as the game goes on, we'll get into more specifics on how things are going. First things first, obviously, in order to conquer the world, we need to be fastest, and the achievement requires you to be the British Empire anyway, so sooner the better. So you want to go ahead as soon as possible, get the fastest demagogue to start your path into fascism for the United Kingdom. All right. General strategy so far, I've taken kind of like I did with France during the France thing. Uh, you have these units all over the world. The fact is they're not strong enough to keep anybody from taking any territory. So why keep them out there? And as such, pulled them all back. So now I have 30 very underwhelming divisions, which once again I did it for most of them. Those weren't there yet, so pulled them all in, converted them all to standard infantry divisions, which are obviously highly under-equipped. But we're in the process of fixing that. And then we have our 6 kind of regular divisions, with one of them being the Armored Division. Now, if we notice our Armored Division, just like with France and a lot of the other countries, we're going to have to reorganize. We haven't even come close to doing that yet, but obviously the goal is to have combined arms within the divisions, and we'll get to that. Obviously, Britain's greatest strength is going to be its navy. Once again, pulled the entire global navy into one little piece. Obviously, there's reasons in the real world why they didn't and couldn't do that, but in the game, it just seems to be the best way to utilize navies. You can't put them all in one port because they're that big, so I've split it up into these 3 fleets. These are the 2 carriers are 2 main fleets that are about even in size. Basically splitting the heavier ships right down the middle, but keeping them with destroyers. Lined up all the subs into one separate fleet on its own. And this kind of is for organization. Then I have 2 what I call tier 2 fleets, which is where I put my light cruisers and a bunch of destroyers, destroyer 1s. There are destroyer 2s in the main fleets. Got the tier 2 fleets out patrolling the seas, and I might switch them to convoy escort. Right now I've got the subs over here and my main fleet kind of keeping Germany pegged in. The thing is, I'm not sure yet if we're going to go to war with Germany. I'm thinking we might actually want to ally with them and get their help with Russia, but that's kind of down the road. As far as research, gone down. It's early in the game, and barring a specific reason, like I'm going to be really, barring a specific reason, I always like to go down the industry path. The sooner you do it, the longer, or the longer term benefits are kind of exponential, especially with construction in particular. And then there's where we're at. Luckily, with England, we start off already with a bunch of this technology, and so started off with mechanical computing. Haven't messed with any of this and won't for a while. We'll get to doctrine, haven't gotten to it yet. Right now, haven't researched anything except I've started focusing down the tank tree. Undecided yet if I'm going to go for the Valentine or just go ahead and hit the Crusader. I like going for the Valentine early in the wars, just because you get a 50% research technology bonus, and you can get a 1941 tank prior to 1939. And even though it's a light tank, it's a really fast, and for the time, very well armored and strong tank. So it's more of a personal preference. I like the light tanks. They're easier to transport overseas, and I love the speed on them. And so far, that's it with research. Diplomacy, haven't messed with really any of it yet. We're not fastest yet, so there's no point in influencing. Trade is, nothing, whatever. Construction, went ahead. I was a little bit debating on this. I went ahead and got some more civilian factories while I had the chance. And then after that, I'll build one factory in each thing. Then I'm going to go ahead towards military factories. I've also researched, or in the process of researching, synthetic refinery. Probably wind up putting at least one of those refineries in each home state. Those synthetic refineries can't be underestimated. They seem like not a big deal, but they can save you a lot of headache later if you're short on oil and stuff. There's only a few countries that have natural oil reserves. They don't have to trade for them, and you get into mass production. And England it's got some, but it's not great either. And eventually, with our construction efficiencies, we want to get into mass production. All right, not researching it or not building any planes for reasons I've talked about before. Really, as much as I love the Air Force and I love the Navy, and wish I would love to have a game where I could dedicate more time and effort to them. The reality is, your resources are always best put towards your army in this game. Um, it's just the facts. If you know, it's fun if you got an abundance of resources to go play around with the Air Force and Navy, I guess. But as a general rule, whatever you spent on Navy and Air Force would probably have been better spent on Army equipment, unless the only exception to that is like here, but we'll get this back up. Unless manpower is a big issue, then it's more about having a small elite force with combined arms capability as opposed to this. But not combined arms, but combined service capability. Alright, that's our production. And so far I haven't messed with any of this yet. As for... I started here. In hindsight, though, I think maybe I should have gone here first. Not too big a deal, lost 70 days. This is nice, but, we don't necessarily... It's not helping us that much right now, especially when we've got this. Heading down to Encourage Colonial Elite, I mean, that's a minus 5% research bonus. That's pretty huge, especially early in the game. Especially for somebody like United Kingdom. Undecided if I want to keep export focus or try and move to free trade in the short term. That also can do a lot of good stuff for you. I haven't decided on that one yet. You'll have to leave that one up to you on personal preference. So that's our current positioning here, very early in the game. General thoughts and strategy. The more I look at this, there's really only one true threat to the United Kingdom, and that's the United States. Russia, I haven't seen a game, even when they've been at war with the United Kingdom, where they've tried to land in the United Kingdom. And if they do, I think we'll be able to handle it. Germany might, but I'm debating. I'm thinking, at least in the short term, we're going to stay friendly with them anyways. We'll both be fascist. We can't be on the same faction, but there's no need for us to go to war with each other either. And I'll have to decide, as the situation develops, we'll figure out what we're going to do with France. But knowing that the United States is going to be the biggest threat, and knowing that, hey, they're still part of the British Empire. They just rebelled, It's time to take those little bastards back. But, reclaim our American colonies, make them once again part of the British Empire, and I think earlier the better. So, my initial plan is to get ready to stage an invasion of the United States. Once we hit fascists, declaring war will be too easy with a justified war. And I'm going to see what happens with Canada. If Canada comes with us, or at least stays in our faction, it's going to be too easy. Worst case, maybe I'll try and convert them over into fascism. But the nice thing about having this huge navy is, as long as the range is there, and we got ports up here we can use if we need to, we'll be able to have enough information to sneak an invasion fleet over. And really the hardest part is just getting landing. Once you're landing and got a port, as long as you got some good armor, which I intend to have by that point, should be good to go. Right now, they're not really any stronger than us, and that's why I'm thinking you want to hit them earlier rather than later. Another reason is I don't know I think their navy goes away after you take them, but regardless, that leaves the only navy able to really compete with us is Japan. And if we hit the United States early and make them a puppet, then they'll have the entire war to build back up, and we'll have their help with Japan when it comes to that. Because eventually we got to conquer the whole world. So hitting the big boys first. And that's, to me, is the United States. They're not necessarily allying with, but working with Germany and Japan to take out Russia. Once Russia's gone, I don't think Germany and Japan will be too hard. And we'll move from there. That's general strategy, and moving forward, we'll see how this goes. No major changes yet, just an update on development. Here's where we're at on... This is a pretty important... Well, not so important, but it's a helpful tree to go down in a good order. So, key helpful things, obviously industrial effort, but I'll show why I'm saving this for the technology. One of the things that I noticed also that's going to be really important is... after this researching the colonial elite, you got the Commonwealth Ties, which is going to bring opinion up, and then you can develop each of these countries, which one, I didn't think would, but apparently gives you more industry, is what it looks like. And two, when we do to convert to fascism, hopefully, if they really like us, and they should, maybe that'll mean they won't leave the faction, which would be awesome. But I don't know yet. We're going to have to discover that out for the hard way. Though, actually, shit, we actually need them to leave the faction, come to think about it. Hold on. Unless they're puppets. I think the only puppet is the British Raj, though. Yeah, the only one that really we want to stay, come to think about it, is the British Ra, because if they're not puppets, I don't think they count as having conquered them, even if they're like, part of the Commonwealth. So, well, we'll see how that goes. Obviously, that could prove to be a problem, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. In terms of government, obviously the fastest demagogue was first. War industrialist. Before I did that, though, I went ahead and did the industrial research time, and I'll probably go ahead and not the theories. No. And then go ahead, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do free trade because I like that increased research time and construction speed. Because we're not really in a rush right now, especially if we're not going to go to war with Germany. So that way we can go when we're ready to go anyways, and the focus once again is still the United States. Moved up to tanks too, starting to develop, starting to get enough industry to start fully developing our equipment. And right now, if you look, we've got 36 divisions, so I haven't done it yet. I'm going to start building some more. So pretty quickly, got them up to our equipment-wise, up to pretty much full strength, and now going to start adding artillery and that kind of thing. And now it's time to start adding more divisions. Still working on getting the... I found it best to modify the motorized divisions as opposed to the tank brigades. So still got to add some more tank divisions. Take away, in fact, we'll take away that guy right now. And take away some of these motorized divisions, because I like to do 4 motorized and the rest tanks up to a combat width of 20. And I like to at least in the minimum get engineering, recon, and artillery at a minimum. If you can get anti-tank in there, it is kind of nice. But anti-tank and anti-air is not necessarily a requirement, so to speak. In terms of research, still moving down the construction path, and I saved that 50% bonus to use right here, to basically priorities, industry. It's very rare occasions to me where I think that wouldn't be the case in a game like this, or really even in the real world, because it's a resource game at the end of the day. And I still haven't started down this line, which I need to do soon. Well, actually, I'm going to go down this line, but we're not quite there yet. So I need to start down this path. That's probably the one area I would say I'm behind on, in the middle of researching the Valentine, or however they pronounced it. Construction, you can see, is going along real well. Sitting on over 60 factories, and we're building quickly. After I get these synthetics up, start researching, or when I get close to the end, I'll start researching another synthetic, and then start building more military factory. I'm probably just going back and forth with military and synthetic. I don't see any need for us to start investing more into civilian factories at this point, because I think we got enough to do what we need to do. Construction, I've already shown you this. This is where we're at. I'm about to add some tank divisions and infantry divisions here. So I just wanted to give you an update. Oh, and obviously, before I can make all these, the next step is going to be getting manpower. I don't stress it too much, because once you put it up, the manpower fills the ranks pretty quick. So that's why I don't get too crazy about it. And they'll still be building the equipment needed. They just won't have the manpower. So that's the mindset behind that. So we just converted over to fascism, and I had a big decision to make, because you can either go through a violent revolution, which the benefit of that is you no longer become part of the Allies, if that was required, or you can do it peacefully, in which case you still remain an ally, and at least for me, the factions never left. I did go look and verify that if the information on the wiki is correct, you still get the achievement as long as basically every country in the world needs to be under your direct control, one of your puppets, or a member of your faction. So everything should be fine. And with Canada, with us, United States, I think shouldn't be too big a problem. So we're going to proceed according to plan. Except apparently I didn't let the game play out long enough. They did just all leave our faction. So Canada first, I guess? I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, so here goes nothing. We got our justify war goal against the United States. We have our invasion mostly ready. It's 20, yeah, well, ready. Yeah, I know, it's really ready. So we got our invasion ready to go using our navy to give us the intel. And the idea is declare war and then invade. We're going to try and land right here, here, and here. Usually try and do one place, but I did 3, with the idea being hopefully we'll be able to grab Providence or Boston really quickly to get supplies, and once that happens, it's gonna do my thing. So we'll see how this goes. So getting quite the big naval battle over here, coming and going. I should have probably concentrated forces earlier, but the one nice thing is the computer keeps sending. It had a whole bunch, but it sends them back to repair, whereas I said do not repair. Though I don't know why they keep. See, I don't know why he keeps. Oh, there, because I had sent him to the wrong area. That's okay. Go there, go there. Anyways, so it's gonna wind up okay, I think, because worst case scenario, we're not gonna lose everything, and with our combined fleet, we're about to land. So we'll see how this goes. Wow, America's. See, I had 4 carriers, even though they were crap carriers. Well, we're doing a pounding on them, which is good. We're taking some hits too, but at the end of the day, I just need to land. Oh no. We'll see how this turns out. Alright, good. Yeah, even though they're fighting here, we got to land here, so this should go just fine, I think. Let's see. Yep, we'll be okay. Alright, port secured. If you really want to know how I'm going to do this, I can try and do something else later, but it's just a lot of... Their divisions, they don't have that many. I mean, they got a few more, but not a lot. But we've got those premier tanks, if you recall correctly. We got 4 divisions of them. I'm going to send over the rest of my infantry, or at least a majority of it. Yeah, probably all of it, why not? At which point, we'll be about even, but they will be on the defense trying to control... I mean, they got a lot of land that they're going to have to cover, where... And all we got to do is pick vulnerable points within that large space, and then encircle with tanks, and keep on keeping on. The only real thing going on right now that I don't say is unexpected, but wasn't fully expected either, was France joined the American Confederation. So technically France is now our enemy. I got to watch out for invasions from France, though I don't see that as being overly likely or anything I wouldn't be able to deal with. But we'll need to keep an eye on it, and regardless, Germany will take them out pretty soon, and if they don't, we'll land and we'll take them out pretty soon. So that'll be that. Plus, if we recall correctly, France likes to declare war and then just sit there. So, as I said, not overly concerned about it. Alright, awesome. Japan just joined our faction, which is great, because to me that's the biggest pain in the butt country to conquer. Just because they defend their islands so well, it's so hard to land on. So great, that should solve that little problem. Things so far going pretty well over here in America. France sent forces over here. A little annoying, but I'd rather that than them trying to invade the home islands anyway. So we shall deal. Things so far are looking pretty decent. Just wanted to check in real quick. As you can see, things are going just peachy. As I said, outnumbered, outgunned, out-armored. And honestly, it's maybe unrealistic to think England could have landed troops, but if they did, America in 1938-39, if somehow 40 divisions from anywhere had landed, yeah, we would have probably been screwed, because our army was nowhere near ready for jack, S-H-I-T. So the real question is if we wouldn't have seen it coming, if they could have landed. And we'll never be able to answer that question. But anyways, point being, things are going well. Germany just declared war on the Polish People's Republic, which I believe is a puppet of Soviet Union, and so Soviet Union and Russia are now at war. Japan is also at war with Soviet Union, even though they're in my faction, but I'm going to let them, whatever. I'm going to let them wear away at the Soviet Union for a while. While they're trying to eat away at the Soviet Union, I'll kind of take care of the rest of the world as best I can. If it looks like Soviet Union's getting a leg up, I might come in and help, but with Germany and Japan, without England or America, they should be able to handle the Soviets, especially in 1939, because the Soviet army's got major organizational issues due to one of their national efforts early on. So we shall see. As you can see, I mean, they're winning on the front. we'll see how it goes. And once again, just a reminder, to get the achievement, you can also have people in your faction. So all of this is essentially, I mean, Japan just helped us knock out China, which is one of the big pain in the you-know-whats. British Ra is still ours. That's another one of the big pain in butts, so it's already ours. So the major ones left are kind of Australia and New Zealand are going to be kind of a pain just because landing over there is a bit of a pain, but we'll take over Netherlands, and that'll probably be the next step after US. Probably grab Canada real quick, potentially. And maybe not. We'll see, because America can probably handle that on their own later on. So probably the next priority is going to be France, Belgium, and Netherlands, while Germany's busy over here. We'll start seizing up all this stuff that was supposed to be German territory. And we'll also try and drag Spain into the faction. Without further ado, see you guys on my side in probably an hour or so. You'll see me in about 2 seconds. Okay, so there goes the United States. We should have just a peace treaty here in a second. Let's see. Oh, we got to deal with France too. So deal with France, and then we should get a peace treaty. So France shouldn't be too much of a problem, especially since I've got military access from Italy, but what I don't have is they're not at war. So that we might still have to do an invasion unless I can pull Spain in, which I don't think I'll be able to do. So we'll see. All right, next step, really fighting over the channel. I mean, we're winning. We haven't lost any ships, and they have. And these battles going on like a bunch of times, and I don't think anybody's even lost ships. So I don't know exactly what's going on with that. I guess we're hitting submarines and they're withdrawing, but we do have destroyers, so not quite sure what the deal is with that. Maybe we can bring some more navy in. Yeah, a bunch of them are still repairing. Maybe they're okay now. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I can never figure out when they're like good to go. Yeah, see, he's still repairing. Actually, let me see. So, okay, yeah, we can tell now. So, carriers in war. Alright, a cruiser ain't gonna help against a bunch of subs. Well, anyways, things are going fine, is the key point. Yep, they're already there. About to land on France, and if I can land in France and grab a port with their national unity being where it is when Germany takes them, I think we'll be okay, but we'll find out. Dunkirk seized. It's like the opposite of history. We're using it to land. Alright, I'll let you know when everything's good to go, but I don't anticipate this being too terribly challenging. Okay, I'll be honest, it was a little more difficult than I had anticipated, not because it was hard, but I underestimated them initially. I had to bring in some more forces, but I mean, it was nothing too crazy. Only thing that kind of sucks is, the reason I didn't want to bring in over all the forces is because I did lose 2 armor divisions on the way there to being intercepted by a navy. But all's well that ends well, and let's see, I'll keep it on while we do this. And what I'm going to do is, I think, just puppet most of them. I'm going to take France, but I'm going to puppet the United States because, honestly, I don't want to be dealing with them. Like, I'll let them do their own thing. So let them puppet, or I'll puppet them too, and then I will take all of France, though. So I've got a solid front in Europe. Oh. They don't have any points anyways. Okay, well, they don't have any points, so I'll be taking all of France for myself and then puppeting the United States. So, it was a long way coming, but we have reclaimed our colonies in America, and we have achieved all objectives of the 300 Years' War. Hoorah! As you can see, at this point, industry really isn't going to be an issue moving forward. So that's another cool thing. And a reminder, not at war with Germany, not at war with Soviet Union. Japan is in our faction, and Japan and Germany are now eating away at the Soviet Union. So the 3 major threats left on the table, one of them is on our side, yay. The other 2 are going at each other's throats. So while they're busy eating each other alive, we are going to go, let's see, Belgium, Netherlands, Denmark, you know, we're just going to start taking things. Because at this point, who's really going to stop us, right? And America's going to be weak right now, but over time, as they build back up, the free American empire, yeah, free to serve the British, and I am, you know, I'm just kidding, by the way. But anyways, so right now they're not going to do much, but as they develop, the American empire is going to become quite the force to be reckoned with, but they're going to be working for us, yay. Another beautiful thing by this point is, even with a free trade economy, with France under your belt, as long as you've been keeping up with your synthetic refineries, you should have enough resources right now where I Production's sitting here, and I'm not having to trade for any resources, at least not yet. I don't think I should. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Also, I haven't made a 100% decision yet, but Germany's actually being pretty successful against Russia. And I'm thinking now might be the time to strike before they get too strong. I don't want them to become a major player. And after I take over the Netherlands and Belgium, they probably will be next on the list, because I think, if we blitzkrieg them really fast, I think we can, because all we got to do is capture their core provinces. We don't need to capture all this. And hopefully we can do that before they can get any major forces back over here. And even if they do, they can't, they're back to a two-front war. So I think we'll be fine. Then that just leaves Russia, assuming that goes well, and we'll have to take out Italy obviously also. But I don't think Russia with the United States, Germany as a puppet, because I'll probably wind up puppeting them. I mean, you can take them over. I hate micromanaging that shit when it gets to the end game. So I just like to have the computer help out with that stuff. So, I mean, we'll have pretty much every other major or an even medium power for the most part under our control at that point. But hopefully I'm not predicting the future too fast. We shall see. Alright, and away we go. This is a little risky because, well, not really, because Russia's not going to capitulate anytime soon. Germany's got a crap load of divisions. Part of me is like, well, you should just let Russia and Germany wear themselves out. But if that's what they got, that's what we got. But our divisions are pretty... I like to run around fewer divisions that are, like, really well equipped. Unless, with certain differences. Unless, like, the Poland stuff. There are certain exceptions to that. But, so, this is going to be interesting. I think we'll be okay. This is probably, going to war with Germany right now is probably the highest risk thing we're going to do this game, though I think it'll be okay. But this is the game decider. If we can pull this off, yeah, Russia might be a pain in the butt, but at the end of the day, we'll be able to handle them. So, we shall see. Well, I'd say it's going pretty good so far. Hopefully I'm not speaking too soon, but I think we're going to be A-okay. Well, that was unexpected. The Soviet Union just capitulated, so I'm definitely glad I got involved when I did, but we better hurry the F up, or all those units on the east are about to come west. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. I need to bully. So I wasn't paying attention, so lesson learned, if you're trying this, I could have gotten Spain to join, and I was just a little late on the gun, and they joined Axis instead of me. So, not going to be the end of the world, but it would have been a nice bonus as opposed to thorn in the side. So just kind of keep your eye out for that. And one of the big indicators, I think, if it's gone. Yeah, it's gone. So it happened right around the time, or right exactly at the time. There's a date where they lose their recovering from Civil War national spirit, and that's pretty much what happens. Alright, so this has been quite the little endeavor. Been a bit of a slogfest, but nothing like taking on Russia. So, more power to Germany for handling that little problem for us. It looks like Germany's about done, and Italy's about done. Now, taking Sicily sometimes can be a pain in the butt. I'll have to figure out if I want to fight my way through here or just land there. Sometimes I get lazy, but then this turns into a mess, so... We'll figure it out. Either way, I don't foresee Italy or Germany being a problem much longer. They want to handle Turkey and sort of see where the peace conference leaves us and head on in from there. Oh yes, and here comes Spain. Once again, a thorn in the side, not a major issue. Now, if we were France, it'd be a major issue, but we're not France, so whatever. Though, reminder, try and grab them if you can. It'll just save you some annoyance factor. Alright, and voila, there goes the German Reich. Nice. Wow. So we'll see if we get to keep all that. But yeah, I guess technically it doesn't go back to Russia, does it? Because they did a peace treaty with Russia. So, thanks, Germany, for handling that problem. Now we just got to deal with Italy and move on from there. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention. So the next threat. And when I say threat, I mean relatively speaking, the next major quote-unquote threat, because it's all that's really left, is the this Norwegian Alliance faction that came up. Um, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland. Somebody else I think joined it. Somebody weird, but uh, it's not going to be a problem. So, but they're next on the chopping block. More of an amusement factor. This is probably one of two major things they really need to work on. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. It's a great game, but it makes absolutely no sense for Bulgaria to want to join the Axis right now. Germany's capitulated, and Italy is about ready to. And regardless of their political whatevers, really? You're really going to join the Axis now? Probably not. So they kind of need to work on having the computer be a little bit smarter when it joins factions, as opposed to just sticking with historical stuff and random just kind of numbers. The other thing I wish they would improve is I wish they'd make naval and air combat more important, effective, or useful. As you notice, I haven't built a single airplane the entire game. It hasn't affected me, not really one iota. I might have won some battles a little bit easier, but that would have been resources that wouldn't have gone to infantry divisions and armor divisions. So, that's just my 2 cents. Once again, great game, but I hope in either an update, a patch, or honestly, I wouldn't even mind DLC personally. Other people might get upset, but you know, I'm glad we live in an age where a game like this exists. So, regardless, just wanted to point this out because it's funny, and hopefully they'll continue to improve this, because this is an iteration of the game that, as opposed to them needing, I think, to go make a Hearts of Iron 5 or something, I hope they just keep improving this and adding new content for it. Alright, well, it's 1943, and as expected, America is coming into her own, but on our side as a puppet. Because it's not America, it's just a colony of the British Empire. So they're helping out quite a bit. They've got about 80-some divisions in the field, but now they're building up to what is traditionally the American power starting in 1943, and it's just going to get bigger and better. And we are now engaging Finland, Sweden, and Norway. Still at war with the Axis. The smart move would have been to go ahead and finish up the Axis, do the peace treaty, and then move on, but I've gotten a little bit... I'm impatient sometimes, so I've conquered this, they joined the Axis, so we're still dealing with the Axis, but I'm going to stop declaring war after we've taken over Sweden, Norway, Finland, and Denmark, and we'll go ahead and come to a peace treaty with that. If anyone really needs details, I can give you details, but at this point, I'm sure you guys, you guys know how to handle it. If you're at a point where you're looking for this achievement, you know how to take on stuff. So, gonna keep on keeping on, and see y'all in a bit. Alright, and so concludes the War with the Axis. Look at all that green territory. I wouldn't say I bit off more than I could chew by any means, though I might have made it a little bit more difficult than needed to be if I had not been quite so aggressive on declaring war with other countries that kept joining the Axis. But all's well that ends well, and I was never in any threat by any means. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude the peace treaty. General goals right now, I want to capture for the British, like conquer/control as much of Europe as I can. The rest of it, I just want to puppet. I don't want to be dealing with all that crap, to be perfectly honest with you. And then we will see where we're at, but at a quick look, we got Tibet in this, a few little standoffs, Lithuania, they'll be easy to take over. You've got the northern, Scandinavian Alliance, whatever it's called, Norway, Denmark. I mean, that's that ain't gonna be a problem. Australia, New Zealand. I'm trying to convert them to fascist and bring them into the faction, just because that's so much easier than trying to conquer them, because conquering islands in this game is just such a pain in the you-know-what. But we'll do what we need to do, and after that it'll just be dealing with the Northern and South America, with owning the rest of the world and having America in our pocket. I don't imagine it would be a difficult thing. So at this point, I think anybody could take this and gain the achievement, but I'm going to keep doing it for 2 reasons. 1, because I haven't gotten the achievement yet, so I want it. 2, to verify for certain for both myself and for you that you can get the achievement for this method. So You can either keep watching or not, perfectly up to you, but it'll probably be a long break before I come back again, just because really it's not a matter of how you do it, just a preference of the order you do it at this point. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention too. So even if Russia was still in the game or something, the one thing I did realize, you probably don't want to puppet Germany. The sole reason being the amount of steel they have. But at the end of the day, it's personal preference. I have gotten to a point where I like puppeting countries just because I hate micromanaging the shit out of stuff. I've played it. I mean, I did like my first game, but I played it too much. So I had the computer to just kind of do most of the stuff, and I hit the primary points. But the amount of steel Germany has, depending on your situation, you may want to go ahead and control them just so you get access to their steel. Okay, so you know how I said I was going to like puppet a lot of stuff? Alright, so sue me, I changed my mind. I realized Belgium, I forgot to take this from them when I conquered them, but that ain't really too much of a biggie. So, as I just said before, gonna go about... This is basically a global mop-up operation at this point. But I'll probably focus over here, just, these little onesies and twosies we'll handle when we're ready to handle them. This, I wouldn't call it a threat, but it's the only relevant threat left. So let's just go ahead and get ready to take care of it. I said that and then I realized, wait, we still gotta take care of Norway and Denmark. Not that that'll be a big deal, but we'll do that first. So another thing real quick, if you want to look at what's possible if you're, really efficient with research. So once again, this is why it's not worth it to me to focus on Navy and Air Force. Look, haven't upgraded nothing research-wise. Haven't upgraded anything research-wise, and that includes doctrine. What I have focused initially was on that industry and electronics. And now look, we're at 1943, and really I've been pretty far down this tree for a while. And this is just kind of a, hey, why not? Not really needed, I just got nothing better to do with it. Here's where I'm at with tanks, artillery, infantry doctrine. So, didn't invest anything in Navy or Air Force, but I got the best industry and army in the world regardless of what land we have. Now, it's not that Navy and Air Force are useless once again. I'm not saying that they don't have benefits. I'm just making the argument that in this particular game, any money you spend there would be better off spent on the army. And once again, that's why I hope the developers, and Paradox, I love them. I mean, they make great games. I love all their games. Well, not all of them, but I love most of their games. But I wish they would put as much effort and energy into the Navy and Air Force mechanics now as they do in the Army. Because the reality is, if you don't control the seas in the air, you ain't doing shit on the ground. But it's just not true the case with this particular game. Sorry, this is more of an amusement factor thing, so I forgot that Luxembourg, 1, existed, and 2 was part of the Alliance, so... they're going on... This is the most armed forces I've ever seen Luxembourg have, and they are going on the offensive. So I just found that amusing. Wanted to share before I, shut it down. Okay, I would say there goes the Norwegian Alliance, except Australia decided to get a little uppity, so we'll be handling them next. Mostly just bringing it up so you have kind of a foresight into what to expect, though obviously no two games are exactly alike, but it'll probably play out something similar. And just was Canada went to war with us too. No big deal. Just a heads up. Right, and onwards to the South American. Hoping Japan will take care of Australia, maybe. Well, New Zealand's not at war with us yet, but I'm hoping they'll take care of them. If not, we'll deal with them. Honestly, probably last, just because I hate freaking naval landings, but we'll deal with it if we have to. And if you are wondering why this is all moving so fast despite the late game, part of me says I hate to brag. The other part of me says, well, fuck it. I spent a long time in the Army and I earned it. I don't buy fancy cars. I mean, my house is nice, but I didn't buy a super fancy house. But I got a damn fancy computer. I've got a fucking 10-core, one of those new Pentium processors, SLI dual 1080 graphics cards. And man, the difference between my old computer was no joke either. I mean, this shit just, it's fucking awesome. So, anyways, I just like to talk about it because I think it's pretty cool. And if you're not there yet, trust me, work your ass off. And when you're as old as I am, Hell, the computer you'll have probably be some fucking holodeck son of a bitch. So, alright, anyway, so let me finish killing him. And this will probably be my last interrupt until we're pretty much at the end. Once again, it was probably an hour plus ago my time that you guys could have probably handled this on your own, but I just wanted to do it for myself, do it for you, and just verify that before I post that yes, this is a method to get an achievement. So, there we go. Sorry, it's been a while and I got bored, so I wanted to say something. This is why you want to get America early. You see this? They're the linchpin to the game. Period. The end. Whether you love America, hate America, or indifferent about it, the reality is America's one fucking powerful son of a bitch once they actually get their act together. Or we get our act together and get in the war. So, yeah. See this? That's why you want America. Just an FYI. Alright, so getting close to the end here, and something's got me a little nervous, which is I go to the diplomacy screen, and it's like not a single country is registering, so we shall see. I hope this isn't a glitch. We shall, I suppose, find out. So nearing the end here, I think, assuming everything goes well, ironically they turn fascist, but they're part of another faction, and even though I think, you know, politics is an ocean of stuff that you have to kind of roll with the tides, but in this game you're locked in once you join a faction. So hopefully New Zealand will become fascist and join us in their elections in November, and we're in August. And if I'm tracking right, and I may not be, taking over Australia should be the last piece of the little puzzle. And if it's not, then there's a little tiny piece somewhere, and we'll solve it. So, all is well, keeping our fingers crossed the achievement clicks, because this still has me nervous. Well, down go the Aussies, which, by the way, even though I was an American soldier, I deployed in the province of Uruzgan in Afghanistan, which is where the Australians were primarily based. And I tell you, those are some badass motherfuckers. Like, a lot of mad respect. I know the Australian army isn't large, but I tell you what, the ones they got are pretty fucking badass. So, after well, I better be careful before I'm getting a little overconfident, I think, but I think we'll be okay before they cut me off. Ah, see? Overran all of them. So after that, I think the only thing left is this Kiwi Empire. Damn New Zealand, which, I don't know if you've seen all my videos, but if you've at least seen the New World Order achievement, you will know that New Zealand is the bane in my ass, because they kept me from getting my New World Order achievement on a very long German playthrough on my old computer, in which I was, the end game was so slow. And they were the only country that would not turn fascist, but they were an Axis, so I couldn't do nothing about it. So, and Kiwi Empire, that's an epic name if I ever heard one. So, I'm hoping after we end the war with this whole Norwegian faction, they'll join us. And I think, well, them and maybe Cuba and stuff is all that's left. But, once again, I hate to beat a dead boat, but I am concerned about this. We shall see. Okay, so we are almost there. Puppeted are just taking everything, I think. So let's see, will New Zealand join us, or are we going to war? You little SOBs, and they're fastest too. Alright. Alright, let me take out New Zealand. I think and hope that's the last one. I'll try and check once again, and I know I keep repeating this, but I really am nervous about this because, I don't know, it's not looking good if the computer isn't recognizing, you know, where countries are, so we shall see. Alright, so just a quick interrupt to tell you, because I got so nervous, I restarted the game and came back just to kind of find out what was going on. Luckily, when I restarted, all the diplomacy stuff came back. So hopefully it'll stick. Hopefully the invasion of New Zealand will stick, and we'll be good. So if you find yourself in that kind of situation, I don't know if the achievement will pop with or without this, but to be better safe than sorry, I did prove you can exit and restart, and it'll come back. So just an FYI. And so goes New Zealand, and as far as I'm tracking, and I could be wrong, all we got left is Cuba and Haiti, which are, you know, major world powers and stuff. So, fingers crossed. Okay, here we go. If this is gonna go well, got Yemen left, and Bhutan, good old Bhutan! Same country that was left for the New World Order. I've never met, been, or seen anyone from Bhutan. I know nothing about their culture. But based only off the history of this particular game, I'm starting to think that they can do their own thing and the world won't affect them. But that's a pretty stupid perspective to take on a video game, regardless. Good old Bhutan. My New World achievement, and hopefully between you and Yemen, the One Empire one. We shall see. Alright, down goes Yemen, and I'm just gonna keep it recording for Bhutan. Well, let's see. It's now or never. We'll see what happens. Got my tanks on the way. It's actually kind of funny that this is also the last country for my New World Achievement Order. Or New World Order Achievement. I didn't plan it this way, it just always seems to work out this way. They're just, I guess, such a nice, peaceful people. They don't hold on to any resources, and everybody does things around them, but sorry, Bhutan, whoever and wherever you are. An achievement is on the line. Bhutan, take all states, or puppet, or I really don't care, and is it going to happen? Let's see. Ooh, not good. I didn't see the achievement pop. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on, but I'm not feeling optimistic. Oh, I guess it did pop. I must have missed it, because right there it is. Hoorah! Alright. Good stuff. Let's look at it again, just because I must have missed it pop, but there it is, so I got it. Sweet stuff. And I'm not saying I'm going to do it all right away, but my goal is to do every single one of these. I don't do it for every game. I'm not like an achievement whore or nothing, but I pick certain games that I really like, and I challenge myself, and this is one of those games. Soviet Union is probably the next big kind of primary one to do, just because it's the one I have yet to play a communist country, actually. So this will probably be next, though I can't promise. So we shall see. But awesome. I'm excited. Hope you learned some stuff, and maybe you got some stuff to teach me, because I'm sure I made lots of mistakes, and good luck getting achievements on your end. So without further ado, Mac out.